Hey, welcome. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday night. Nice to have you here. Right. Let's get things going. Lower my music just a little bit. I had to switch up the music for tonight because I know I know last week I said I didn't care. I wanted to play the music that I wanted to play. And that got me blocked in at least one or two regions. So I guess I won't be doing that. I'm going to be playing stuff that I'm pretty sure YouTube will not pick up on. But I don't like that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I understand the argument. If everybody could just play whatever music they wanted, then of course that would lead to all sorts of problems. But sometimes it's like, come on, man. There's like only so much music. How am I going to find something that nobody knows? That's tricky, man. It's tricky. Okay, so I have some good news to report. First of all, happy Friday to you. Thank you for being here. It's 12/12, December 12th. It's a fun number. I kind of love that. So I know last week I was talking about some struggles that I was having with scene 55. I'm happy to report that hey, Sam OK is here. She says, "Hi Phil, happy LiveDraw." Well, hi Sam OK. Hey, you're the first comment of the night tonight. Welcome. That's always exciting when you get to be first, right? I think that's exciting. So I have good news to report, and that good news is I had a much better and more productive week this week. I don't like not being in control of my own senses. I think last week was very much a challenge. Woohoo! Yeah. Last week was definitely a challenge. I take it as a personal challenge. I think I mostly rose to the occasion, but I'm gonna be honest. There's part of me that thinks, yeah, I gotta work on my mindfulness and my strategies for those days, maybe week or 2 weeks, sometimes when things just feel off and it's hard to focus and it's hard to kind of like zero in on what you want to do. Those are really rough times. And man, the last 2 weeks, basically all of December, I have been dealing with that. So this week was really, really nice because I started to feel like myself again. And I started to make genuine progress, but also looking at what I had done before and trying to go, you know what, man, this isn't as bad as you're thinking. Is this whatever this scene is doing to you? It's not as bad as you think it is. And also, it's pencil. You can erase it and you can fix it if you have to. So it's been a lot of coaching myself and reinforcement and positive self-talk and things like that. That's been this week. And I'm happy to report that I'm really happy with the results that I got this week. Really, really happy. I also like what I did last week. I look at it differently now, and I was able to go back and kind of tweak a few things as I usually do. So I'm still on scene 55. I'm not done with it yet. I sort of had to like adjust my timeline. I don't think I knew what I was getting into when I merged the two scenes on my storyboard. I don't know that I realized that I was giving myself as big of a task. Kristen is here on Facebook. Hey, Kristen, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So here's basically what's going on. I took two scenes that probably would have been really easy and probably would have been over with by now if I had done them the way that they appeared in the storyboards. But I realized that this is this is like the tension moment of the cartoon. This is when everything is at, a boiling point. And when I looked at the boards, I thought that doesn't scream boiling point to me. So I need to do something different. So I thought, let me combine these two scenes into one big scene, but it's going to have more action. It's going to have two characters, full body. You can see their whole body. We can see them like walking and, marching and hand gesturing and all this stuff, which was not exactly the way I had it in the boards. But I think it's more dramatic and it's more exciting, and it is, but it also means it's more work and it's, harder to do. So now I have one scene, but it's 8 seconds long, so it's longer. But because I've got two characters acting on screen at the same time, it sort of doubles the drawings I have to do. So I know if I look at my number of frames right now, the number of frames is like just over 50, but I know I've done closer to like 75 drawings, maybe more than that, because I've got two characters. So, and Frank over on YouTube, I know you're putting graphics on the chat, and I guess they're not popping up, so I can't really see what you're writing. I guess I could go over to pull it up on YouTube myself and try to see what you're writing. I try to respond to people as much as I can. Oops, sorry. You got little graphics. Okay, well, I don't know what those little graphics are. They look like a monster or something like that. I don't know what they are, but that's kind of cool. So thanks for putting some graphics on the screen. That's cool. Anyway, all right. So, and thank you for the heart, by the way, from Shauna over on Facebook. And so I'm simulcasting in case you guys are new to my channel. If you don't know what I'm doing or who I am, my name is Phil, and every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central, I do this 1 hour live stream where I talk about the animated cartoon that I'm drawing on paper. And halfway through the video, usually I turn my camera around and show you guys what I'm working on. It's kind of like a video diary, sort of, because if no one showed up, I would still do it, and I would just talk about how like it helps me to take a pause once a week and sort of like remember what the previous week was, and kind of I don't know, it just helps me to put it in perspective. So hey, Tanya's here. Hello, Tanya over on Facebook. Thanks for being here. Cool. And Andrew Simons over on YouTube. Hello. So I'm not done with scene 55 yet, but I had to adjust my timeline. I originally thought I would be done with this scene like pretty quickly, and as it turns out, that's not what happened at all. So now my new goal is finish scene 55 by the end of this year. That's my new goal. So I have how many days do I have? I've got like just under 3 weeks, right? To be fair, I think I could probably finish this scene within 1 week. I don't need 3 weeks, but I'm giving myself 3 weeks because it's the holidays. My day job is about to get a little bit crazier because of the holidays, I think. And so I'm trying to give myself like a little bit of a grace period and not feel like, oh, you have to, crack the whip, right? So that's my plan, is to just focus on this scene the rest of the year. Don't worry about what comes after it. Just make this the best that I can. I'm trying to be prepared to maybe take some time off to visit some friends. So yeah, so that's my new goal. And then when I start again in the new year, I hope to come back at the whole project with like some renewed encouragement in my actions and feeling really good about what I'm doing. And I do have a fun little bit of extra. Thank you to Nathan Bechtold over on Facebook for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Tanya said, of course it is taking longer, LOL. This happens with most of my stuff too. Yeah, well, before I tell you the cool thing that I want to tell you guys, which I think I might have just forgot what I was going to say. I think I did. Oh, anyway, this happens. I'm sorry. I'm scatterbrained. I've always been this way. It's not an age thing. I've been this way since I was a kid. So yes, it takes longer than expected. this project is particularly guilty of that statement that you just made, Tanya, because when I started this project, I was definitely not where I am now. Like I have grown over the last few, how many years have I been working on this? About 2 years. The drawing stuff I've been working on for about 2 years. So in that time, I've gotten better. And I'm not saying as a bragging thing. I'm just saying like from where I started, I have leveled up myself. Okay, it's fair to say that. And for me, when I started, I was like, gosh, if I could only make this character just like do this one thing, then I would be really happy. Like I had a really low bar because I hadn't pushed myself. I hadn't done a lot of this. I've done cartooning my whole life. I've done a little bit of animation, but I haven't focused on animation like I'm focusing on it now. So as I've gone on, I kept like hitting those little goals. I was like, oh, I can make that character do that. Oh, if I imagine this, then I can make it happen. Oh, I just have to keep like trying, and I have to just keep applying the same process I've been doing, to whatever I can imagine. And if I can start putting down like, the keyframes, and then all the in-between stuff obviously after that, but the keyframes are like the main thing. If you can get those keyframes in there, and then your breakdowns, if I could get those really, really good, then the in-betweens would fall right in line. And then one thing, anyway, the point is that started happening more and more. So then I was like, oh, I can do this. Well, gosh, if I can do this, then let me look at my storyboards. If there's anything on my wall, you guys can't see them, but I've got them pinned up on the wall. If there's anything on my wall that I look at that I feel like could be more exciting or could be more interesting to look at as an audience, don't I owe it to myself and the audience to try to do that and make things more interesting? I think so. I get really bored watching a lot of modern animation. I won't name any names, but a lot of shows that are produced like episodically for TV, more like the sitcom stuff. Those shows tend to be a lot of mouth flapping and not a lot of like robust animation, or they're cutting a lot of corners, which is fine. They have a production schedule. It's a TV show. They have a network that expects them to do that. I understand that. I'm not faulting those shows for doing that, but I am saying I don't have those restrictions on me. And so because I don't have those restrictions on me, if I want to make something that I'm more proud of and not try to do something just for the sake of getting it done, then that's what I want to do. And so that's why this is taking me so long, is I'm not cutting a lot of corners. I'm not reusing a lot of animation, hardly at all. And every time I approach a new scene, I think, how can I make this more interesting? How can I move the camera? How can I move the characters? How can I do all these things that I really wasn't sure I could do? And that is making it more complicated, which makes it take longer, but the results are better. So, I would rather have the better results. Hey, Marks109, how's it going? Appreciate that. Okay, so that is why things are taking longer. What was the cool thing I wanted to tell you guys? Trying to remember now. Oh, I know what it was. So I'm on scene 55 right now, and I'm going to start drawing scene 55 on camera here with you guys here just in a moment. But what's cool is the next scene. I know I try not to look too far ahead. That is like a big part of this project, is how do I get really myopic and focus on something, but then also make sure I take time to move back and look at the project as a whole and make sure that the ship is still steering in the right direction, right? I mean, I think a lot of projects you could look at it that way, but that's definitely what this project is I need to step back as a director, and I have to make sure we're pointed in the right direction, and then I have to like zero in real small, and go, okay, now we're just going to focus on this one part and make this part as good as it can be. But then we're going to zoom back out again and make sure that like the trajectory for the next part coming up is still still works and still connects, right? So the next scene that I have is the last scene with my customer character. So when I finish scene 56, I'm officially wrapped on the customer for new ad day, which is really wild as I wrap on more and more characters. And I'm like, I'm done with this character. I'm done with this character. Like I'm starting to close in on the finale, which is great. In fact, scene 55 that I'm working on right now, once I finish this one, I will be done with storyboard page number 21, and that will leave only 3 storyboard pages from the original 24 on my wall, which is wild to be able to say that. It's really cool to be at this point. I'm trying not to like sit here and bask in the glow of progress too much, but I do like to put things in perspective. Also for you guys, those that are interested in following me on this journey. Now I do plan on going back and adding like a small montage sequence once my 24 pages are done. So there is more to do, but I'm not there yet, and I'm only focusing on the original 24 right now. That's where I'm focused. And then the plan is to go back, watch the whole thing through, see how I feel about it. Do I still feel like there needs to be a montage? The answer is probably yes. And then I'll have to come up with this montage and then make storyboards for the montage and then draw that out. Now, I don't think the montage is going to be more than like 20 seconds. Probably not. So it'll probably just be 1, maybe 2 storyboard pages. Probably just 1, if I'm being honest. Probably just 1. We'll see. Because I kind of want the montage to happen in like 3 scenes. And my thought is, since my storyboard pages have 6 little squares on them, I'll just give each scene, I'll just break it down into like 2 squares, 2 squares, and 2 squares. And that'll be the entire page of storyboard that I'll use. And that'll be like, I'll just work from that, and I'll add that montage in there. And then it'll be time to start figuring out post-production. So I can't believe I'm this close to post-production. It's a crazy thing to be able to say. I kind of hope I'll be into post-production by the end of May. That's my projected goal. It doesn't have to happen, but would be really nice if that could happen. So that's what I'm planning on right now. Sam OK says, "You're doing great." Thank you, Sam OK. It will take as long as it takes, and you'll be happy you didn't cut corners in the end. Yeah, I'll be very happy of that, because I'm going for an aesthetic. I'm making it's a short film, right? When I started this process, I was kind of thinking of this cartoon as if it were a pilot episode for a series. And I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not telling you that it's not a pilot episode, but I don't know that it is. I'm just going to, like, that's too much for me to think about. It's too much for me to think, now go make 15 more, or whatever. Seasons nowadays are whatever number you want them to be, right? So I don't know what's going to happen after this cartoon, other than I would like to submit it to film festivals, and I'd like to have some local events here in Austin, some screenings, before it eventually becomes available for something that everybody can watch online. It won't be available right away to everybody, but eventually it will be. So I know that that's on the horizon. I just don't know what, will there be a follow-up cartoon? I would like there to be a follow-up cartoon. Will I start that immediately? Will I take some downtime? I don't know that I want to take a lot of downtime, because I don't want my skills to get rusty. Of course, I could always be just like drawing whatever in the downtime to make sure that my skills aren't getting rusty. I just have a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions on the horizon. But if you guys like to, if you're enjoying following me on this journey, just keep popping in here on Friday nights, and you will you'll know what's going on. You can also follow me for free over at retailsunshine.com, retailsunshine.com, just all lowercase. You can follow me there for free, and I post like, in progress photos and stuff like that. But anyway, thanks for letting me ramble for a little while, folks. Marley is here. She's a cool artist that I only know her online, but thank you for the thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Thanks for being here, Marley. Yeah, it's what's funny is I've been getting messages from people recently who pop in here, and I don't know that they've popped in here because they don't bother to say hi in the comments. And then later, I'll be on a phone call with them or something, or I'll see them in person, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were saying this thing the other day," and I'm like, "When was I saying that?" "Oh, during your live stream." "Oh, you were there?" Yeah, I popped in for a little bit." Okay, thanks. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I'm not mad, but it's like, definitely feel free to make yourself known. It's nice. I think the more the merrier. I like to know when people are popping in. It's a little boost for me. And if you do give me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever on the Facebook side of this, I can at least see that live while it's happening. I do appreciate the thumbs ups on YouTube as well. I just can't see them happening until afterwards. So, oh, Tiffany's here. Hi, I'm also here. Thank you, Tiffany, over on YouTube. So I'll show you guys. I'm going to turn my camera around now and show you what I'm. Oh, also, I'm about to change some technology at home in the not too distant future. I'm going to be changing my monitor setup, which you guys won't see, but I'm hoping at some point down the road I can maybe scale up my situation here, and maybe I'll have a second monitor. I just kind of want to. I don't know. I want to like zhuzh it up a little bit so it gives me a chance to help myself be more productive by having additional windows or additional space for things. But maybe I can find a way to have like a dedicated camera pointed at my desk so that I can switch over more easily. D1 Hunter 59 on YouTube says hi. Hello. So we'll see. Maybe in the new year I'll have some like technology improvements. That would be kind of awesome. So let's see if I can turn things. Now I am live streaming both on vertical. If a lot of folks find me on the vertical live stream, I also do my standard live stream, which I like better because you can see more of my environment. But that's fine. If you found me because you were swiping on YouTube and you're doing the vertical live stream thing, that's totally cool. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to make it so that you can see what I'm working on. It's just I have to make it so that I can have both groups of people. What's my favorite song? Asks D1 Hunter 59. That's a really tough question. My favorite song. There's so many good songs. What's my favorite song? I don't have one favorite song. I have lots of favorite songs. Gosh, you're putting me on the spot here. Let's see. I'll just name a few favorite songs. That's just easier for me. I love a song called "Moments of You" by Rockapella, which is a all vocal group. I love "Just Another Day" by Oingo Boingo. I love Rye Whiskey by Punch Brothers. I don't know. I like a lot of music. Favorite artist. I love. So Oingo Boingo is who I always say my favorite band is. That's Oingo Boingo. I'll say that. That's my answer. But I will say, like, in recent years, I have like gotten a couple favorites that are maybe like neck and neck with Oingo Boingo, and one of them is Punch Brothers. I'm wearing a Punch Brothers t-shirt right now, oddly enough that you bring up music. I love the Punch Brothers. I've seen them live. They're great. So I'm a big fan of them. But yeah, I would say Punch Brothers and Oingo Boingo. Those are my. You tell me, who's your favorite musical group artist? I'd like to know who you like. So this is something this is part of Scene 55 that I've been working on this week. Let me try to rotate things a little bit more so you can kind of see them better. This is a little tricky. It's a little tricky. Let's see if I can get this. So you can kind of see. I'm making, this is my customer character. I'm making him say the word now, and if you can, it's hard to kind of see, but you can see his mouth moving there, right? So he's going now, 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 now. Here is him previously with just a closed mouth for one of the syllables. He's going to end up in this position, and he's standing on a box. You cannot see that box because I drew it on a different piece of paper, and I composite that on my computer. He's standing on that box, but you can see here he's got 1 foot on the box and 1 foot on the ground, and then he like lifts it up and leans forward, and he's pointing his finger. And he's pointing his finger at a character that is standing here. And you can't see that character because I drew that character on different pieces of paper as well. And that is why, even though my frame count for this scene is right now at around like 51, 52 drawings, I've done way more than that because I have to combine them all, squish them all together, and layer them and composite them later on. So I've done more drawings than 50, but when you smush them all together, that's one picture. You get like character A, character B, and like the little box he's standing on, and you smush all those together, and that makes one picture. That's how all this works. Eventually, I'll have another drawing behind them, which will be a background, and possibly even some stuff in the side here that is a little bit out of focus, and that's your foreground. So now you're talking about 5 layers making one image. And that is a big reason why doing animation the way that I'm doing it traditionally, why it takes so long. And typically there are teams of people who do things like this. The cartoons that you love have lots of people working on them, and they break down the work for like a bunch of different teams to do their own little segments, and so that makes the work go a lot quicker. I don't have that luxury. It's just me working on it. That is by choice, but I will tell you, while you think it's easier to have a team, unless you have an established pipeline, which is an industry term that means basically like an assembly line, where everybody knows their job and everybody's doing their thing. Unless you have that already established, trying to bring people on board to do things the way that you want them done is very hard, because then you have to train them from scratch. Anyway, so I think it's actually more work to try to bring people on board who don't know your style. They don't know your characters inside and out, right? D1 Hunter 59 says, let's see, Juice World, King Von, okay, XXX Temptation. Well, I don't know any of those groups, but I appreciate you telling me about them, because I can always go back later and read these comments, and I can look them up and find out why you like these musicians so much. So, I also like Wet Leg. They're more in the current conversation, I would say, right? So what I'm going to do tonight, I just finished a sentence, a part of a sentence where or a word at least, where my character says now. And then the next thing he's going to say is it? He's going to ask the question, is it? And he says it twice. He goes, is it? This is the first is it. And then he does another is it after this, where he gets even more in the other guy's face. But I need to get him from here to here. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of, I'll do like a breakdown shot tonight. And you can kind of see that motion happening there, right? That's kind of cool. Yeah. So I'm going to do a breakdown of this tonight, and then maybe some in-betweens. That's the plan. So I'm going to take these drawings out because I don't need them at the moment. And I'm going to put that one back in. I'm going to go ahead and grab some new paper on top there. Oh, thank you, D1Hunter59. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. And let's see here. Let me get my let me get a little swig of water here. Just don't mind me. You talk for half an hour straight, it tends to make you thirsty. All right, so let's get my light on for just a moment. And I'm not going to use this the entire time. I don't want to like blind you guys, but you can actually see pretty well when I do that. You can kind of see a little bit of what I see. And so this helps me to kind of get a sense of where my line placement needs to be. But as I have learned on this project, I don't like to rely on this too much because, yes, it tells you like where both drawings are, but it doesn't really give you a sense of motion. And the only way to get that sense of motion is by turning the light off and then flipping the paper back and forth like I was doing. That's I'm starting to rely more and more on that. And I've seen other animators doing that, and I was like, I don't understand why are they relying so much on that? Why aren't they using their light box? And now I know why, because the light box is it's helpful. It's a good tool. It's a little bit deceptive as to what it can actually do, because you have to trust your eye that you're getting the motion that you want. And you don't really get that from having like staring at both drawings at the same time. You don't really get that. This is good as far as like placement and getting things sort of started and going, okay, I kind of know I want this to be slightly above that and to the side of that and whatever. It's good for that stuff. It's not good for motion. At least I don't find it to be that good for motion. So, all right. So I'm going to start to, let's see, bring his chest maybe there. And let's see if I can get that. All right, and we'll get the my final brain cell H2G on YouTube is asking, what am I drawing? I'm drawing an animated cartoon. It's a 7-minute short cartoon, and I am drawing part of scene 55. So if you're wondering about why I keep saying what number scene I'm on and what that means, I can tell you, in live action film, the parts that you shoot are broke down. Are broke down into something called a shot list. And in animation, for whatever reason, they don't call it a shot list; they call it scenes. And so, basically, this is the 55th shot that I have made for New Ad Day, which is the name of the cartoon. It's called New Ad Day. So that is what I'm working on. And I've been doing this live stream, I think, maybe since I started I don't know how far back I've been doing this live stream. I've been live streaming since before this cartoon. I think I started live streaming. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. That's actually an interesting thing for me to be wondering about. All right, so see, it's helpful to have the light when I'm doing the part I'm doing right this second, which is I need his foot placement, his left foot. I need that to be pretty much in the exact same spot. And if I didn't have it there, it would sort of slide around and not look right. So there's a reason right now why the light box is good to use. In a moment, I'll be turning it off because it won't really be doing what I need. But for now, it is. So I'm going to keep it on for just a little bit longer. I know his foot comes up right there and it starts there. So because of that, I kind of want it to have like an arc. So he's going to sort of have his foot here, but that doesn't really work. So because of where his leg would be. That's kind of weird. So his knee is there, and his other knee is the knee, and the other shot is there. So I'm gonna have to. Oh, this is where things get a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky. I'll have to start getting a little inventive with this now. Okay, so let's see. I know I've got music playing. I just think I lowered my music so far down that I can't even hear it now. So I'm just going to start that over. I couldn't even hear it. All right, let's see. All right. That should kind of get me where I need to go. I don't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to get some shapes down so I can make sure that it's doing what I want. So I think I want his hand there. It's like doing a little like I'm little teapot dance in this shot. It's really funny. Okay. So his hand's there. His hand's there. So I don't want his hand to be further away than that. I guess that's going to be where it is. Let's see. It should work out. All right. So I'm going to turn the light off for just a second so I don't blind you guys anymore. So you can kind of see this is a really, really rough shot. Now, this is a breakdown shot. It's not it's not an in between, and it's not a keyframe. Because I've got my keyframe here. Essentially, that's a keyframe, and then I've got this keyframe here. So these are like my start and my end point. So now this is like a kind of a midpoint, and you can see as I do that, it's like he's lifting his leg. See that? That's the plan. And then it should go from here to here, right? So you can kind of see that's how I break this down. Hence why it's called a breakdown shot. So there's that. That's the lunge forward, and then this is like where we start off. So that's how I break this down. So I'm gonna try to make this drawing a little bit more, detailed. I don't need the light box on for this part. And as I do this, I'll keep moving it back and forth and checking to make sure that it still works. And if it doesn't work for whatever reason, then I start making adjustments. But it's easier to make the adjustment when I'm in this mode because I can flip my drawings back and forth, and my eye will tell me whether or not I think it's moving correctly just by looking at it. And you can see what I'm talking about as well. When I was flipping it, you could tell that there was movement. If I didn't like that movement, if it wasn't doing what I wanted, then I have to stop and pause and figure out what's going on and make my changes accordingly. But so far, the movement seems to be doing what I want. So that's why I'm now willing to go forward and go, all right, let me add some details because I feel like this is starting to do what I want. Now, later on, when I do some of like the filler shots, the filler drawings that happen in between, they're called in-betweens. Those are maybe a little less complicated because it is more like just connecting the dots. Yes, Yoki, like a flip book. It's not stop motion. It's traditional, but I do think of this process as a kind of stop motion, because in stop motion you're moving a model a little bit at a time and then taking a picture, and that is kind of what I'm doing here, except that I take the picture much later on. So it's very similar. Sam OK says I like this angle. Okay, good. So this, well, I can't really memorize this angle, unfortunately. I guess I can look it up later, but it would be nice if I could set things up where I would always have my camera pointed in a specific way, and I think maybe I can do that at some point. I'm gonna have to. I don't have it set up for that right now, but I think it would be a nice thing in the new year to maybe like upgrade my setup so that I can not have to work so hard to show you guys what I'm working on. That would be really really nice. What I'd like to do is have it where I have a second camera and the second camera is doing its thing, and then I can just click a button and then pop that camera view up, which I know how to do that in the software. I just need to get like a second camera. So that's really what I'm talking about. I don't have a second camera. And Sam OK is one of my channel members. That's why she gets her comments on the screen. So if you want to have your comments featured on screen, you should consider becoming a channel member. It's like 99 cents, and you get, there's a few perks in there. It's just a nice. If you like what I'm doing and you want to support what I'm doing here, that's really what it is. But there's a few perks. I will look at those perks again and see if I need to add something at some point. But right now it seems to be doing just fine. All right, so let's see if I want to get how I want to get that. See if I can turn my music up a little bit. All right. Okay, so I got his hands and his feet where I want them to be. So let's see. I didn't really do any warm up today. I was actually out all day, so I don't love jumping straight into a drawing like this, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. They got beady little eyes. Give it some hair. There we go. So that's my breakdown shot, getting him from here to here to here. So obviously it'll happen a lot faster when it's playing. See if I can get this like. Kind of see that, right? Actually, if I really wanted to do this correctly, I would flip these around, and I would do it that way. So I could actually like. I'm trying, guys. Right? You can kind of see that, like, there's like motion happening there, right? Like, oops. Anyway. So if the drawings are doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you'll get like motion, and it should be the motion that you're looking for. And if it is, then great. And if not, then you got to figure out why. So I'm going to do a kind of like a, well, I'll do another in between, or not another one. I'm sorry. I'm going to do an in between. I'm going to do it from leading in from this drawing and going into this drawing, to give him a little bit of like a gradual lift, just a gradual one. And then that will lead into this one. And then I'll do another kind of like leading out image here. So this part will probably be 5 drawings in total. I'll play it through when it's done on my screen. If it doesn't really work, if I'm missing something, if it could use a little bit more, I won't really know that fully until I look at it all in my timeline. But I get a pretty good feeling that like 5 drawings is what I need for this. And then I'll go on to the next section. Again, this is all part of scene 55, but in order to make this work, I have to break a scene down into like a bunch of micro scenes. And so that's I'm working on like a sliver of scene 55. So I'm going to leave all these drawings where they are, and I'm just going to plop another page on top. If I turn the light on now, once everything kind of acclimates, you can see the 3 characters or 3 drawings. That means one character, but the 3 drawings, and you can see like that there's like a trajectory of motion, right? It kind of like goes up and comes down, like it's like an arc. And I try to do arcs in movement if I can, um, because if you don't have an arc in your movement, what happens is things start to look very rigid and robotic. So if everything is very like straight shot A to B, then there's no room for things to have a little bit of like push and pull or squash and stretch, as it were. I'm going to lower that down a little bit. Okay. Anyway, so, um, if I really wanted to go in and kind of like squish them a little bit, I could do that and things like that. But right now, I'm just, yeah, working on this motion. So let's get going here on this next one. Now, because this particular drawing, I want to sort of be starting the motion. I don't want it to. I don't want them to just like jump into it exactly. I want them to have a little bit of a lead in. So this drawing I'm working on right now is very, very close to where the original one starts. It is slightly moved, but it is pretty close by comparison of the other one I just did. So I don't know if you can see. Maybe you can. Not really. Well, if I lift this, you can kind of see that. That's the circle I just made. It's very, very close to the circle on this drawing that is right behind it. It's not exactly overlapped. It's just very, very close to have a little bit of movement. I don't want too much movement too early, but I also don't want no movement at all. That's the other thing. So it's just kind of a decision you have to make. It's there's not like, I mean, there is a right and wrong answer, I guess. It's all relative to what you want. And if you feel like that motion needs to be a certain way and it doesn't, then now it's on you to figure out why it's not. But you can do anything. I mean, there's no rule saying you can't have, your character doing things that other people don't expect it to do. I mean, it's if you're making a film, it's your own film. You can have these characters do what you want. Part of what I love about it is I get to be an actor, but I get to be an actor through my drawing. Um, but I'm also a director. So if I see my character doing something that I don't like as a director, and I'm like, yeah, I don't particularly care for what that does to the overall vision of the story. That's me as a director. Me as an actor is making faces in my phone and taking pictures and then using those pictures as reference, so I make sure I am getting the emotion across. Thanks for all the new friendly faces popping in tonight. I do appreciate you guys visiting me. If you like hanging out with me here and you like hearing about what I'm doing, I would love for you guys to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I do a live stream. Typically, I do them every Friday night. Sometimes I do live streams in the middle of the week, just a little fun, silly thing, typically not related to this project, just something goofy. I don't do those all the time. They're not really scheduled. So the only way to know about them is to get notified. All right, so setting up his leg. Now, this part is a little bit weird because I'm going to have to make sure that his foot is, see, it's lifting. It's not lifting the way that I want. I had a feeling that it wasn't. And so now this is the part where I have learned, stop using the light box, start using your eyes and your brain, and kind of just figure it out. Okay, something is starting to work there. Yep, something's starting to work there. So I need that to not be quite as big. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. We are closing in on 1 hour, and that is typically what I try to do, is an hour. But sometimes this happens, and I get sort of in the zone a little bit, and so I might stick around a little bit longer to get a little further on this drawing, because it is working. And when something is working, I don't think it's a good idea to interrupt that when something is working. Okay. I guess I could turn the music back up. going to do a little, let's see, where do I have that song? And let's do this. All righty. Well, that's good. I think a good place to stop. Once I start making characters dance, I'm officially no longer working. um, yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Tolerating the humidity, doing a number on my hair right now. It was like 89% humidity here today. I'm not making that up. It was like walking in clouds today. Just like a mist was hanging up everywhere. Um, Thanks so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. I love the minute I start to sign off, everybody's like, peace. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Have an awesome weekend. Hopefully you're not letting the stress of the holiday season get to you too much. Just try to give yourself time to rest and do something fun. And you know, we'll make it to the other side. Almost to the end of 2025. Pretty amazing. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Marks. Good night to you. Thanks to Ernesto Facone over on Facebook for the thumbs up. I do appreciate that very much, guys. All right, I'll see you guys next Friday. Thanks for being here.